And what's going on with the team? They're trash right now. We understand that. They have the worst superstar in the sport in Kawhi Leonard, who is a talent when healthy, no doubt, but does nothing to promote his team.
Kawhi Leonard is one of the worst free agent signings in NBA history.
The Los Angeles Clippers were supposed to shine this season. New arena, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and championship buzz everywhere. Instead, it's chaos.
I don't give a damn what Lawrence Frank has to say. I don't like what he did. I don't have much of a relationship with Lawrence Frank. I've always respected him. I remember when he was the head coach of the Nets. I remember when he was the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. I know the man knows his basketball. I always found it a bit sketchy, iffy. How does Doc Rivers bring you in as an assistant and you end up being the president of basketball operations over him before ultimately assisting and letting him go? I always find that to be very, very suspicious. But that's a story for another day.
The fresh start has crumbled into tension, injuries, and disappointment. With no draft picks, a bloated payroll, and fading chemistry, the Clippers are trapped in their own mess. Now they face one brutal choice: trade Kawhi, move Harden, or admit the super team dream is dead. The Clippers are finally cornered by the decision they've dodged for years: trading Kawhi Leonard. The team superstar is now at the center of a wild salary cap storm, and things are spiraling fast. They just sent 40-year-old Chris Paul packing in the middle of what was supposed to be his classy farewell tour, and that move shocked everyone. I'm disappointed in the Clippers organization. But here's the twist. This isn't as simple as throwing Kawhi on the trade block. On paper, he's still putting up elite numbers: 25.4 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 3 assists on nearly 49% shooting. Those are stats that scream franchise player. But when you zoom out, the picture looks way uglier. The Clippers are sitting on a brutal 7-19 record, worse than teams openly tanking. There's chaos wrapped in confusion, and the team can't seem to find the breaks. If the front office somehow plays this right, they could flip Kawhi to a desperate contender willing to bet big and squeeze out every last drop of his prime years. But if they botch it, like they've done with move after move lately, they'll slide right back into being the Brooklyn Nets of the West. Overpriced, lost, and laughed at by everyone. This whole saga begins and ends with one man: Kawhi Anthony Leonard, the quiet storm that's shaking the entire Clippers franchise. To really understand why the Clippers are finally facing the truth, you've got to see just how deep this disaster runs.
Kawhi Leonard messed it all up. All the times they had a chance to make a run, like even the bubble time, Paul George was going through mental health and stuff and whatever. It just been a whole bad run. Like even before they got Kawhi Leonard, they was in a way better position though. When they had Shea, Lou, and all them. Now, if you think about it now, if they would have handed the keys over to Shea, shit, where would the Clippers be?
The Clippers came into this season thinking they were built for a deep playoff run, maybe even a shot at the finals. On July 18th, they made waves by signing 3-time All-Star Bradley Beal, and that move had the entire league buzzing. And so this is a player that has 3-time All-Star experience. He's a former All-NBA player as well. They see him as a natural, seamless fit at the starting shooting guard position after the trade of Norman Powell. Yeah, it's sort of a clear role that he slots into for the Los Angeles Clippers. Analysts were calling it a power shift in the West, and Steve Ballmer was apparently ready to break into one of his wild celebration dances right on the spot. But the hype didn't last long. Disaster hit before Beal even suited up. Just weeks later, he was ruled out for the entire season with a brutal hip injury. That single twist of fate blew up the Clippers' big plan before it could even take off. With Beal gone and the cracks in their roster showing fast, the team's season nosedived. They managed to win just 6 of their first 24 games, a miserable 6-18 start, one of the ugliest beginnings in franchise history. At this rate, they're tracking toward a sad 22-win finish, a total disaster for a team Vegas expected to win around 50. To put it in perspective, during Kawhi's best year in Toronto, his presence alone boosted the Raptors by 17 wins. Yet now, even with Kawhi putting up nearly the same numbers, the Clippers look like they've time-traveled back to the pre-launch City days. Sloppy, inconsistent, and getting beat by teams that aren't even trying to win. It's crazy. They're dropping about $50 million on Kawhi, plus another $40 million on James Harden, for a lineup performing worse than the rebuilding Utah Jazz. Imagine spending superstar money for tank-level results.
It's December 2nd. The Clippers are 5-16. They have to be thinking about trading some of their big parts because their offseason transactions were all swing and miss.
The heart of the problem. The Clippers convinced themselves they were playing 5D chess while everyone else was still figuring out checkers. Their master plan was locked in on 2027, the so-called long game. They thought they could ride out the KIPG trio, survive the mountain of draft picks still owed to OKC from the Paul George trade, and finally reset once all those massive contracts cleared the books. That was the dream. That was the grand vision. But now it's turning into one expensive nightmare. I'm just disappointed, to be honest. I can't think of really another word. Obviously shocked at first, but disappointed. I'm disappointed for Chris Paul, but I'm disappointed in the Clippers organization. But like the great philosopher once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the straight to the mouth over and over again. They're not just losing, they're collapsing in real time. The Chris Paul farewell mess turned into a PR nightmare, publicly embarrassing a franchise legend and showing how tone-deaf management can be.
They have a very good front office, so you know what you're about to do.
Everybody keeps saying that.
I know
that the Clippers have this great front office based on what?
I mean, I don't know. I think they're smart in how they read it.
Well, they can be as smart as they want. They lose all the time.
Yeah.
They just lose. Screw up Blake Griffin. Screw up Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Screw up everything. You are an apologist for the Clippers, and you're not the only one.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the media is in love with that front office because, like you say, they got nice guys over there. Lawrence Frank's a good guy. Lee Jenkins is a good guy. You know what? There are a lot of good guys. They're both. I mean, how can a logical person not say these guys are bad at their jobs? They just are.
Well, if
They're
you're
bad
going
at
on
their
results
jobs.
this year, I think you have to
Clipper fan.
Now, their reputation across the league has sunk right back to that poverty franchise label they worked years to shake off. To make things even messier, both the team's ownership and their franchise superstar are caught up in an ongoing investigation that's throwing the whole organization into chaos.
Kawhi Leonard only gives a damn about Kawhi Leonard. And guess what? It's too late because now he just started, I believe, the first year of a $153 million extension they gave him last.
The front office is getting roasted nonstop on every sports show and social platform. Everyone's calling them out for clumsy decisions and self-inflicted damage. This disaster has reporters like Brian Windhorst and Tim Bontemps asking the question the Clippers tried to dodge for years. If this era has officially flopped, who goes first, Harden or Kawhi? The harsh reality? Trading Kawhi is almost impossible. No team is eager to take on that monster contract tied to a player who's missed big stretches of multiple seasons. Add in the investigation and things get even trickier. Sure, Kawhi still flashes his old brilliance. Those brief moments where he turns into that two-way beast again, but his absolute prime seems like it's fading in the rearview. And then there's the math, and the math is brutal. Under the league's new CBA and the restrictive apron rules, teams just aren't throwing $50+ million at a player with unpredictable availability. This isn't the 2019 version of Kawhi, who carried Toronto to a Finals MVP. This is 2025 Kawhi, where the talk is flipped from how much would someone pay for him to is his contract even worth it anymore? As far as I'm concerned, if you look back revisionist history at this point in time right now, you would most likely look at the Clipper trade worse than the Dallas trade for Luka. According to Windhorst, several league execs are already whispering that Kawhi might be a negative value deal. Now that's wild. There's still chatter about Miami being the best possible landing spot if the Clippers ever put Kawhi on the market. Heat culture has built a reputation for turning troubled stars into winning pieces. But with rumors swirling that Giannis could become available in the next free agency cycle, even the Heat might hold off before chasing Leonard. On paper, moving James Harden seems way easier. His deal is lighter, his health is held up better, and his style still fits teams looking for a one-year scoring spark or playoff playmaker. Some insiders are convinced the Clippers will end up flipping Harden instead of touching Kawhi. But don't get it twisted, BA. Even that route is complicated. Between contracts, timing, and reputation, every move feels like walking through quicksand for this franchise. The Clippers can't just blow it all up and start over. Even if they wanted to, the ghosts of that massive 2019 Paul George trade are still haunting them.
was going on when he left. Now, think about Kawhi Leonard. Think about everything that was going on when he left the Toronto, when he was making the decision after he won a title with the Toronto Raptors. The Lakers was pitching to try to get him. Toronto was doing everything to get him. You had the Clippers, obviously, in the mix. And before he got to the Clippers, he demanded that they bring in another star/superstar, meaning Paul George. The Clippers were begging and pleading for him to say, hey, bro, we got to keep SGA. He didn't want SGA. What did the Clippers do? They shipped SGA to OKC for Paul George with 5 first-round picks. 5 first-round picks at the time. So then you get Kawhi Leonard, by the way, only played 277 games out of 492 since being in the Clipper uniform. 277 games out of 492. They paid him over $300 million. He's been paid over $300 million since being in the Clipper uniform. They were supposed to be looking the Lakers eye to eye, okay? What have you gotten out of Kawhi since he's been in the Clipper uniform? 1 division title. And what makes it worse is that you basically helped out your ops.
Because of that deal, the Oklahoma City Thunder own LA's unprotected 2026 first-round pick and control the 2027 pick swap. To make things worse, Philadelphia is sitting pretty with the Clippers' unprotected 2028 pick and another swap waiting in 2029. That's 4 straight years where the Clippers don't really control their own future, not even a little. They won't truly own another first-round pick until 2030, so if they try to tank now, all they'd be doing is handing shiny new prospects straight to OKC and Philly on a silver platter. A rebuild through the draft, completely off the table. And that right there is the heart of the nightmare. If the Clippers hold on to Kawhi and keep trying to compete, they're dumping insane money into a team that looks like a luxury car with major engine trouble, sleek, expensive, and still breaking down every other week. But if they trade him and accept the pain of a full reset, they basically get nothing from the crash because other teams would reap the rewards. They're trapped in a lose-lose game. So now the question becomes, what kind of pain do they choose? Picture yourself in the GM's chair for a second. Do you double down on Kawhi Leonard, praying there's one more healthy playoff run in him, one more flash of the killer who averaged 30.5 points a game back in that 2021 postseason? Or do you face the cold reality that this era might be done and trade him away for half his value just to finally move on? It's brutal, either way. The ugly truth the Clippers are facing now is simple. Something's got to give. They've reached the point where every path forward hurts, and the only thing worse than making the wrong move is standing still. For months, they've convinced themselves that the Kawhi-Harden combo still had life, that raw talent and name recognition could drag them back into contention. But the standings don't lie. The win column is screaming the truth. This team isn't built to win anymore, and the rest of the league can smell that desperation from miles away. Now the front office has no choice but to ask the questions they've been dodging for years. What can be fixed? What's worth saving? Who's even tradable at this point? And most importantly, what's next? What kind of team do they want to be when the dust finally settles? It all circles back to one man, Kawhi Leonard. Even through the losing streaks, he's still producing like a star, dropping around 25 points a night, efficient as ever, still showing flashes of that two-way monster everyone once feared. On most teams, those numbers would make you a contender, but for this version of the Clippers, it's just not enough. That's why the unthinkable is now on the table, sending their biggest name packing, even if the return doesn't come close to what it would have been 5 years ago. Some teams, desperate ones, might still talk themselves into taking a shot on Kawhi Leonard. Miami is always the first name people whisper. On paper, it sounds perfect. Heat culture, Eric Spoelstra's non-nonsense system, and that brutal conditioning program that turns veterans into warriors. If anyone could squeeze one last playoff run out of Kawhi's knees, it's them. At some point, you gotta look at your organization and whether OKC is gonna get your picks or not. The people who are in charge gotta make a culture change from top to bottom. You can already see the headlines. The Claw joins the culture. But even the Heat have bigger priorities, with talk of Giannis possibly hitting the market soon. Miami is waiting to see how that plays out before making any big moves. Then there's New York, the mecca of basketball, and the team forever chasing that next superstar. The Knicks crave a redemption story, a wounded star walking into Madison Square Garden, trying to revive his career under those bright lights. It sells itself. And they've got just enough to make it tempting. Young wings, a physical front court, and solid draft flexibility. Maybe not enough to replace Kawhi, but enough to make the Clippers think twice. But let's be real. While moving Kawhi would be the most dramatic move, trading James Harden is the most realistic one. His contract isn't as heavy, he's been more reliable, and his skill set still has real value. Teams like Milwaukee could use him. Imagine Harden running plays next to Giannis and Dame. That trio would be terrifying. Even Orlando could make sense, with their young defensive roster that needs a veteran playmaker to steer the offense. Harden's market might not be huge, but at least it exists, unlike Kawhi's. Still, every trade idea crashes into the same wall, the past. That 2019 Paul George trade still hangs over the Clippers like a curse. OKC owns their 2026 pick and the 2027 swap, while Philly holds the 2028 pick and 2029 swap. From 2026 to 2029, the Clippers don't control a single first-round future. They can't tank, even if they wanted to, because every loss just gives more power to OKC and Philly. So, the classic blow it up and rebuild plan off the table completely. The Clippers are stuck in limbo. Can't tank, can't fake it that everything's fine, and can't ignore the mess anymore. Every move now comes with pain. It's just a matter of which kind they can survive. So, if the Clippers can't tank and can't fake that everything's fine, what's left? There's only one way forward, the messy middle path. It's not flashy, but it might be their only shot at survival. That means keeping Kawhi Leonard. Not because they think he'll ever be 2019 Kawhi again, but because trading him now brings back almost nothing. Losing with him might still be losing without him. Harden, though, could be flipped for what this team really needs: depth, defense, and energy. It's about reshaping the roster, replacing Harden's minutes with hungry young legs, and rebuilding an actual identity instead of chasing star power. Picture it, a new front court with a rim protector locking down the paint, athletic wings defending hard, and shooters spreading the floor to ease Kawhi's load. That wouldn't turn them into instant contenders, but it could make them stable again, functional, balanced, and maybe strong enough for one last playoff push. Because at this point, the Clippers aren't choosing between success and failure. That choice is gone. They're choosing how to fail. Collapse completely or pivot with some pride. Do they gamble on one final Kawhi run or take the embarrassment of a low-value trade? They can't tank, can't rewind time, and can't pretend Kawhi is still that unstoppable force. All they can do is find the path that hurts least and hope that somewhere along it, pride, luck, and identity finally return to a franchise that's been lost for too long. Now, the question lands squarely on Lawrence Frank's desk. Does he double down on Kawhi Leonard or finally walk away? Whatever he picks decides the Clippers' future. What do you think? Should the Clippers keep Kawhi and Harden or finally blow it up? I really want to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. I'm truly thankful for your opinion. Thanks for watching Ball Stories. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. And hey,